Hey everybody, this is Blue and we are going to talk about character creation. As I am creating characters for one of my adventures that I am designing, I thought I would talk a little bit why I like the Rolemaster system over D&D and all of its related gamings like Pathfinder. I feel that with D&D, there's too much of a cookie cutter system. You only get there's no real skill development. It is based off of your stats, and it just doesn't work for me. And so I was doing some research, since it has been years since I have played D&D, and there we go. So 3.5 had over 30 skills. If I remember right, 35. I'll show that in a little bit. And then 5e took that down to 18 skills. So these are very vague skills. Because they did not get into specifics. D&D is more of a free-flowing, you can talk yourself out of stuff, it's not a skill-heavy game system like Rolemaster. And if you're role-playing, you should know the abilities of your character. And by having skill development, you can limit your character. You have to know what the character is capable of and what it is not capable of. And so that's one of the reasons why I like Rolemaster. And here you can see that Pathfinder has 26 skills. Woo! Again, that's very vague. I like detail to my characters. In my system, now Rolemaster has this too, I have made it fit my world scheme more. And so we're going to talk about different skills. Now this is, I have a 4-page skill list. I have 301 skills in my gaming system. And they are divided up into different categories, such as, well, all of them are academic, crafting, social, athletic, combat, chi, general, magical, perception, evaluation, subterfuge, animal, plant skills, medical, and focus. Okay? And so starting off with your academic, this is your thinking. A lot of these are going to need your memory and reasoning stats, and I will be doing a video on stats next. So you want a character to be smart, and you want him to be smart in certain areas because you want to make him like a nerd when it comes to biochemistry. Well, I got a biochemistry skill. Your clerics, you want them to know your religious system or their religious system very well. Well, there is a religious studies skill. So you can say that they are good in these particular categories, and well, they would suck in others because we have chemistry, advanced math, physics. Now, a cleric wouldn't be good in those, and so they would not be developing skills in these categories, but you can make it where the skills that are important to their profession, they'll have a reduced cost compared to other skills because it's easier for them to get religious studies skill development compared to chemistry skill development. And I will be going into that in the next video as well. And so I like this system because you can tailor your PC to excel in unique areas. The next category is crafting. You know, again, I love this part because it is specific. Your character might be an excellent painter, or you want him to be an excellent painter. Well, painting is different than engineering. And so you can't just do this vague stuff like the D&D systems and its related systems do. Somebody could know a lot about lock lore. Okay, again, if you've got a rogue, a thief, they would want to know a lot about lock lore so they can break into chests and into secluded rooms. Okay, so there's your specific. You can do lock lore and mechanics, and you can make your thief character really good when it comes to breaking in and entering into areas. Okay, this is for your artwork, and so you can have characters that are good in certain things. You can have a craftsman, and they need to know how to work with wood, the lore of woods, and all, so you can make those categories excel for them. The next one is social. Now, this is very important because, the game is a social game, and since you're interacting and all that, you should have skill development in these areas. Lie detecting. So you can roll your 2d10 and find out if you learn that the person you are interacting with is lying to you. Okay, and wouldn't that help out in the game? You got public speaking, trading. Okay, so you're a merchant. Develop your trading skills. Diplomacy, leadership, teaching, social interacting. That's a general social interacting. Do you know how to say hi to people? Do you know how to get involved into conversations? Poetic improvisation. Okay, so what happens if you are forced to, your character needs to woo another player character or an NPC? Well, you can roll on your poetic improvisation, yeah, and you can see they did it. Awesome. Singing, ventriloquism, gambling. Okay, yes, you can play the game literally, but if you do solo adventuring like I do, you can thus say, okay, he is going to play poker with these people, and you can roll the dice to find out how well he did. And so that's awesome. Seduction. Yes, you can play it out if you want to, but then you can, if you want to speed up the game, you can just roll the dice. And you can find out if he or your character was able to woo the other. Inspiration. Does your character, with his public speaking skills, give a speech that motivates people to do something? Maybe even something stupid like going into battle? Propaganda, tale-telling, acting, interrogation, intimidation, and etiquette. I think those are all needed skills, and so you could have a barbarian who is good at gambling and has absolutely no etiquette whatsoever. And you can build this in the Rolemaster system. Okay, athletic. Now you can see that I have a lot of athletic skills here. There's total 26 there. Now this isn't pure strength. I seen in D&D they like to put strength as your athletic. Well, some things are more finesse or require finesse. I mean, if you balance, that's agility, right? Skiing is more of agility than strength. You got aerobics, that's more of an endurance and agility. And so this is why it's not divided up into your stats. It is about related skills. So athletic games, playing soccer. Dancing, flying and gliding, well, maybe your civilization has gliders and how well you do on that. Or maybe they can have wings and they can fly. Well, you got to develop the stats so that you can tell how good they are doing. 1 second. Next category is combat. Now, as you can see on the chart there, it goes weapon 1 through 8. With Rolemaster, you develop each weapon individually. And so weapon 1, it would be your primary weapon, your favorite weapon. So for many people, they would have the broadsword or like a mace as weapon 1. Weapon 2 can be a ranged weapon if you want. So your character could have the broadsword and then a longbow. So there's weapon 1, weapon 2. Brawling. That is, basic wrestling, throwing punches. Martial arts skills, you got strikes and throws. Now, the one major difference that I did compared to Rolemaster was I developed parry skills. You learn how to use your weapons to fight, and then you can use your weapons to defend yourselves in close combat, right? So these are 2 separate skills. Rolemaster had it where you can reserve a portion of your offensive bonus from your weapons to use to defend yourselves. I didn't think that made sense. And so you can either attack or parry in your rounds. Boxing, of course, is very similar to brawling. Military organization, sometimes you need tactics and all that, and you have to organize your party, properly. So, can you organize? And then there's tactics. That's a separate category. Shield bashing, can you take your wall shield and give somebody bloody nose? Feinting, that is using your weapons to draw people into doing something stupid. Blind fighting, of course, we all know what that is. Stun maneuver. Now this one's important, and because some people, even when they're stunned, are smart enough or have enough there where they can raise a shield or put their sword in front of them to protect them. Well, that is part of that's part of stun maneuver. Reverse stroke, that's when you're, reverse hold your sword and, take it back to get the person behind you. Okay. If you are a cavalier or a duelist, that's kind of an important stat. Mounted combat. Okay. Look, how good are you on a horse? Or a camel or some other weird animal. Silent attack. Okay. Cool. Sniper. We all know what a sniper is. Disarm foe. Can you use your hands or a weapon to unarm your opponent? Siege artillery, siege warfare. Siege artillery is firing the weapons. Siege warfare is knowing where to put it. Next category is cheat. Now this one is completely neat. This is something that I developed, I'd say about 2 months ago. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, and I've always wanted to incorporate that into my game, and so I have. I developed a set of rules, and of course with the rules comes skills, so that I could have certain professions develop the chi form of skills and actions. So, yeah, like your chi bolt, that's when you shoot just a simple beam of energy that is meant to pierce. Chi blast, it comes, blows up on your chi ball, large area of effect. Multi-ball bolt, I'm sorry. That, if I remember, is Vegeta when he's just shooting things off right and left everywhere. Okay, multi-ball. Chi special attack. Now, it seems like every Z fighter and every other creature has an attack that is specifically them. And so you can develop a special attack. Basically, you're doing a Chi Bolt or Chi Blast and then adding an additional critical of some level. Chi Deflect. You're able just to slap the beam away, but you got to be really good at that. Chi Shield, so you're taking your energy and creating basically a wall around in front of you so that the attacks don't hit you. Chi Sphere, instead of it just being in front of you, you create a wall of Chi force that surrounds you so nothing can hurt you. Chi pushback, that is basically those so many times where Goku was able to hold this big massive ball of energy and then shove it right back at whoever threw it at him. Chi intercept is basically shooting the Chi bolts to shoot at other bolts. Let's say you're trying to protect somebody and your opponent threw a Chi bolt, you can fire at them. The only thing I have to really work on in the game is how to intercept magic with Chi. And I think it's just basically offensive bonus of the Chi versus the offensive bonus of a firebolt. In Dragon Ball Z, you also get to use your Chi to improve your speed, your ability to jump from one place to another. You can float, where you're just there in the sky. Then you have to develop another skill to fly. Goku has the instant teleportation skill. That's teleport right there. Power up, when you try and build up all your energy to work with. Then power down. Let's see if I remember. Chi power, the TR stands for transfer. So let's say somebody is weak and they need the energy. You can then send them some energy. So somebody could be doing a spirit bomb. Chi AB stands for Chi Power Absorb. This will be your ability to absorb the energy that somebody's trying to send you. Next one is Chi Power Steal. So you can intercept somebody that's trying to help other people out and you can absorb their energy by stealing it. The next set of skills, Chi Strike. It's when you're using your Chi to enhance your martial arts abilities. Chi Block, you use your Chi to help protect yourself from other martial arts combat. Chi Throw is just like martial art throws. You're using your Chi energy to throw somebody a great distance. Chi Distance Strike is using your Chi to extend the range of your martial arts attacks. Then you got the next ones. It's all about protecting Chi, using it to help dodge incoming attacks. Chi Sense is to detect people that also have develop chi abilities within a certain range. Chi stealth is about hiding your chi energy. Chi self-heal, obviously, it's using your energy to help heal certain level of superficial wounds on your body. And then you got chi help others. So let's say Goku wants to heal Gohan. There we go. And so this is something that makes my homebrew game more unique. Okay, next page is general. Of course, general, it means there's a lot more odd skills, but basic skills included in this. Boat pilot, obviously, can you can steer a boat without capsizing it? Navigation, find out where you are. Caving, can you go into can you enter a cave and get to your destination without killing yourself? Foraging is searching for something in an area. It's not always food, because you could be foraging like a workshop looking for a tool, and foraging could fit there. Hostile environments, a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. Some things are more general, like general labor, but then like lumberjacking, because that is a very physical skill, very physical job, is a separate category. Cooking. Now, some people are going to say that that's just lame. Why have it in there? And that is because your characters have to eat. And so there you need to develop a cooking skill. Because if your PC can't cook, then what is he going to be eating? Is he going to be eating raw or burnt meat? No, you don't want him to. And if he does, he could get sick. There are also times where your character could be captured and be forced to do labor. And if he's forced to work in the kitchen and cannot cook, he's going to get himself in big trouble. And so it is important to have skills like that, because it adds flavor to the character and to the adventures. If he is tested to cook, a pig on a spit, but if he has no cooking skills, he's going to suck at it. Okay? Gimmickry, can you create little gizmos and all that? Play instrument. One of my favorite characters I had a long time ago, he was a ranger. Good old Victor. Yeah. And, he was an excellent sword fighter, deadly with the longbow. But at night, when they were in their camp, Victor would get out his lute and play the lute. It was a nice way to balance out your characters. So many people have the kill hobo mentality. Well, you can have that and also give your characters other skills. Again, this adds detail. There are background options in Rolemaster, and so you could have your character has an unnatural ability to do something, and then you can back it up with some skill development, and there your character has more depth. They're not just a cookie cutter profession. Okay. So we have on there their ability to hunt. They can brew, maybe, fishing, drawing, playing games, gardening. These are some basic skills that would add a lot of detail and more depth to your character. For your mages, there is a lot of different skills to go. Magical lore is their ability to remember skill development. And this is one thing I love about my version of Rolemaster is We don't have spell mastery. You don't have to roll the dice, see if you can remember if you have actually learned and retained learning a spell. In Rolemaster, as long as you got the power points to do it, you can cast magic. We got an attunement, which is attuning to your various magical items. Channeling is your ability to receive energy from the gods. Some people can't do it. And if you got a powerful god and they send you a little bit extra power points, if you're not ready for it, it could kill you. So you need channeling skills. Directed spells, that is your ability to cast like a firebolt and such. Magic rituals. I allow magic rituals in my game, and so you have to develop your magic ritual skill to show your ability to build up the power of the ritual for not just yourself, but with the group if you're doing a group ritual spell. PowerPoint development. This is how you get your PowerPoints. You can buy, for some wizards, they can get a total of 13 PowerPoints per level if they're willing to spend the development points on it. And so you can get this great pool of PowerPoints. And so if you have 70 PowerPoints per day for your character, that means they can cast 10 firebolts as fast as they can. Okay? Most of the others are pretty self-explanatory. Summoning, some of these is about the knowledge specific to summoning. Your ability to do divination, such as tarot cards, reading tea leaves, and that. Magical languages, certain groups have their own specific language. Spell list acquisition, this determines how many spells you can learn off a list at a certain time. There's also individual spell list acquisition, so maybe you don't want to learn all 24 spells off the fire law, and you just want to know spell number 7 because that's firebolt. Well, that's an individual spell acquisition, and you can do it. Alchemy, banishment, exorcism, all the rest are all about very specific spells or skills in my game, so they are unique. Perception. This is your ability to observe and learn what's going on around you. This is detecting traps, finding the secret opening, sense an ambush. Maybe you can notice that doesn't seem right over there. I think there's a trap there. Roll those dice and you might go. Hey, there is a trap there. You detected it. Good job. Or an ambush. Tracking. This tracking, is finding an animal to hunt. Direction sense. A lot of these there, I think you can understand. Understand it pretty simply. Evaluation, next set. This is your ability to learn the quality of an item, the weaknesses of an item. And so we cover a lot there, because sometimes if you got captured and you have to work in the kitchen, you could be the food tester. And if you're going to be the food tester of an item, you might want to know food quality. So you go, I'm not eating that dang thing. That stuff doesn't taste right. I think that one's poisoned. Okay? And the last page, okay, subterfuge. Kind of the sneaky stuff. You could try to deceive people. Camouflage is your ability to use outside items to hide yourself. There's disarming traps, picking pockets, picking locks, ambushing, silent kill. So there's a lot of subterfuge skills here because certain skills are going to be used by different professions more. A thief is going to want to know how to hide an item and how to pick a lock, but an assassin is going to want to know how to silent kill. Okay? And so we have all these different skills so we can specialize our PC or have him stand out or just have something that for the group he is awesome in. Next category is animal plants, because Rolemaster doesn't do dungeons very well. Well, it does, but it is more of an open campaign. It's kind of like going to Mordor for Lord of the Ring fans out there. And so you need to know the animals out there. You need to know the plants. You might have a job that's outside because maybe you are a outdoorsman or a ranger, and so you need to know how to deal with animals and what animals are out there. So these are all important skills. Next category is medical. Okay. Again, we have healers, we have medics, and so not all of them are good, and so we need to have different skills to show their level of development. One of the things I did not like about D&D was if you have bad rolls, you can still do somewhat good on these skills. Whereas for Rolemaster, your stat skills are stat bonuses. They add to your skill, but you can develop your skill every level. Buying 2 up to 3 skill ranks per level on certain skills so that you can make your medic awesome. Not only can they do first aid, they can do second aid and maybe even some surgery if somebody really gets injured. And so because they become really good at the other levels, they can do more healing. And so I think that's important. The final category is focus. This is your meditative type skills. What you're seeing for ADR, that stands for adrenal. So you have your adrenal balance, adrenal defense, adrenal deflecting, adrenal landing, adrenal leaping, adrenal speed, and adrenal strength. Okay, so there are times where you are focused and you get your mind going and controlling your body, and where you're able to show these abnormal periods of strength or speed. And there's your category. You can actually develop it. We have MED meditation, so you have meditative cleaning, meditative death, meditative healing, meditative sleep, meditative thought. Meditative thought's a nice one. I like that one because you can have somebody that has some knowledge into a category. They can go into meditative thought and they could process it and they get an extra bonus in resolving a puzzle. You can douse for water. Frenzy. If you have a barbarian, and you want him into frenzy, you like him to go into frenzy, well, there you go. You can actually develop a frenzy skill and send that sucker into frenzy whenever you need it. Body stabilization, spatial awareness, staying awake. Now that's one I created and I added, because if you are doing surveillance on an area, you can challenge your PC by going, you have been doing this for 9 hours. You have done nothing else. You're starting to get tired. Roll those dice. And there you go. He will do a skill check on staying awake. And you can do this every hour. This, again, makes it makes your character more defined, and I love it. And then there's focusing. Okay, yeah, you stayed awake. That's one thing, but focusing, people sometimes can be awake and just phase out. Test their focusing. See if they are catching all the little details that's going on. Okay? So those are my 301 skills that I believe make my version of Rolemaster better than regular Rolemaster, which I think is better than D&D because we get to make our characters more unique instead of depending on 18 skills. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this, and so please put your comments below, and everybody please take care, be at peace.